see you terminated!
Heresy grows from idleness.
I don't need luck. I have strategy.
The destination is known.
Through chaos, I
Time to reap the spoils of the battle.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. An interesting perspective. However, allow me to offer you a bit of advice. In the interests of your own well-being, you should frame your thoughts with greater piety. Demonstrating such a lack of care when choosing your words might be viewed by certain people as evidence of insufficient trepidation before the God Emperor, the master of humanity. I understand, but the particularities of my craft have made me a perceptive individual, capable of seeing through to the root of things. Unlike millions of his devout servants. Trust me, your words could easily be interpreted a different way, especially by one inclined to do so. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencias, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. My regards. Naturally, the infamy of your achievements in the shadows of an entire sector is not unknown to me. Your enterprising spirit and, if you excuse my bluntness, refusal to die are qualities worth saluting. It is as if you were carried here on the wings of destiny itself. I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor, so that you may fulfill your blood duty. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the Rogue Trader, indeed blessed by the God Emperor. Your former position may have been different from conventional service as part of one of the institutions of the Imperium. But from now on, a different fate awaits you. One chosen for you by the Lord Captain. I advise you to come to terms with this reality as quickly as possible. To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencias. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities, and exploit those of others. I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being... There is, and you will meet him soon enough. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Let us not dawdle. Is there money to be made?
Disciplinam Deo Imperator, nec deficimus.
One of the von Valencius trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
What's happening?
Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
Challenges make the spoils that much sweeter. On it. I'll see to it personally. It's as good as done. I refuse. I'll see to it personally. Who, if not me? I'll see to it. Another enemy down.
What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan. I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
I always have a backup plan. Keep your wits about you.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad? Our second candidate has joined us. Approach and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis Expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is... Yes, now I see the blood of the dynasty in your veins. Greed disguised as pride and vanity. What say you to that, Edelthrud? There is an answer that is quite different from yours, isn't it?
Perhaps I have not yet acquainted myself with all the intricacies of serving on the frontier. But my loyalty to the God Emperor forbids even a shadow of such thoughts. Heresy, whatever form it might take, must be exterminated. And there can be no place for base ambitions. I know his tenets well. Unlike our new acquaintance. Insolent, ignorant upstart. How dare you?
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
So, why are you here? You are direct. I approve. But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness, beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon. Resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with Fon Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Bloodright alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name Fon Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voitvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least. I have some time before the Navigator gives the signal to initiate the Void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. Is that so? Perhaps the Technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Gellerfield. Or perhaps...
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is thousands of years old. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads, and the Rykad system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers, and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House Fon Valancius in surpassing both of them in affluence, since I set the course for Rykad on the demand that... Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that's... Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars. Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Gellerfield, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars. In that case, I shall head to...
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none.
The Masters demand your death! For now.
A tactically sound approach.
My faith strengthens me. Die! Out of my way! Chaos guides me.
I don't need luck. I have strategy. It's as good as done. On it. I'll make it happen. I'll see to it, Percy. You never stood a chance. Who, if not me?
I serve the ruinous powers. Death to non-believers.
Brace yourself,
Death to the
Abelard. Tried and tested tactics are the best ones. Reduced to dust.
Stay vigilant. For the glory of the Imperium! Chaos guides me. Out of my way!
It's as good as...
Gotta hurt.
Follow my lead.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive. Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel.
From what we have seen, I can speculate that we are dealing with some variety of madness induced by warp travel. Such episodes are not uncommon among Voidsmen who have found themselves outside the boundaries of real space, though such episodes seldom spill onto other decks.
The casters are not working, or have been sabotaged. Either the warp is toying with us, or someone went to great lengths to cut the ship's communications. I will need a direct channel to the engine seer Prime before I can get a sense of what we are up against. Whatever it may be, keep your weapons at the ready. I imagine it will be some time before we no longer need them. Possibly. Quite likely. We will investigate at a later time. Right now, we need to isolate the affected compartments and try to assess the situation. Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
I always keep my options open.
Thank Providence you are alive and well.
Always on time, eh, Coonrad? The moment we finish chasing the riffraff around the deck, you show up. Always just after the fighting's done. You could set your chrono by it.
Mort, pull yourself together.
What, did the Lord Captain send you to chivvy us along? We're all done here. I'll report right away.
Master of Whispers, what is happening on my ship? The Voxnet is silent. The Voxmaster is not responding. Armed assailants have stormed the officer's deck, and my arch-militant just destroyed several more heretics on the way here. Is this a severe case of warp madness? Have some of my crew lost their minds and forgotten who they are and whom they serve? Report!
I have not yet received word from the Engineerium regarding any Geller field failures, but communications were already unstable half an hour ago, and now they have ceased altogether. Whatever the cause may be, the consequences are spreading fast. I am receiving scattered reports from the middle decks, and the only voxcasts from the lower bays are one-way heretical gibberish. That the madmen have already reached the officer's deck suggests that this outrage was planned in advance. Perhaps this is an organized mutiny.
Lunatics. Heretics. First, we have to confirm that the bridge and the Navigator's Sanctum are secure. And I have the means to do both things at once. Edelthrad, where is he? I must know if he is unharmed. A psyker aboard a ship that is potentially being assailed by the warp could pose a greater threat to himself and others than a whole army of madmen with improvised weapons.
I tried to locate him, but the last thing known about his movements is that he arrived on Transitional Deck 18.
Blast it! Master of Whispers, find Edelthrad immediately.
Seneschal, locate Tlas and the Sister of Battle. Both are to remain at my side. Arch-Militant, with me. I must go to my study. And it appears we might encounter heretics along the way.
If I may, Lord Captain. Transitional Deck 18 is at the heart of the disturbance, and if our goal is to bring Ethelthrat back, I could use some support. After all, I'm not as adept at directly confronting enemies of the House as the esteemed Arch-Militant, and taking into consideration Ethelthrat's psychic powers.
Then it's settled. Find Ethelthrad and bring him here. In whatever state you find him. This elevator leads to restricted compartments such as my personal chambers and the bridge. Do not let me down. I require you both. Do you understand?
We're in the warp. Considering the attack, there could be a disruption in the Geller field and the infiltration of malevolent forces onto the decks. Psychers can react to such things in the most unpredictable ways.
Enough! Master of Whispers, you must not allow my heir to turn into a mindless mutant and to perish under Enforcer fire. Do whatever it takes to bring Ethelthrad back to me. Then move out! Mort, come.
Are you ready to head to 18? It is a long walk, and you... Of course you will. Lady Theodora would never have someone she couldn't rely on as one of her heirs. But that is no longer relevant. Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest. He has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warrant Chamber. And for that, I need him breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful. You must have hit your head harder than I thought. No matter. Very little is required of you. Just your blood, which you can either share of your own volition, or I will spill it for you. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade. Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel. An ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel. On the contrary, the Warp's blessing has raised me too much above your kind, Fon Valencius. The Sentinel refused to submit to me. But you can help. After all, isn't that what family is for? Why? Because I am following an order. What is happening on this ship right now has been in the making for a very long time. All that remains is to obtain what my masters sent me for. The warrant of trade. I am afraid that you have no choice in the matter. Try to resist, and I will demonstrate the power. I doubt it, my dear. But that's enough talk.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance? Genetic code identified. Child of House von Valancius. Do you require assistance? Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
There is still another way!
Always keep your eye on the prize.